Welcome to Andrew's Garage, and this episode we are working on my 1967 Chevy C20. Now this is kind of going to be another long series basically of me working on this truck and getting it roadworthy here. I got roughly 4 months to get it on the road, and I definitely think it's doable. So we're going to go ahead and start blasting this guy apart and seeing what we can get done. I would definitely want to get the hood off and the whole doghouse off today, and potentially the bed if I can, and get ready to start doing a little bit of rocker work on it and cap corner. So we'll see how this goes. This week I'd like to get new outer rockers on it and cap corners, and once I get some little bit of strength back in the outer rockers, I'll be able to unbolt it off of it and either flip it up back over the frame or pick it up off and be able to set it on the ground and flip it up on its back so I can do body mounts and stuff like that, because the body mounts on both the front and the rear look about like that, so which is no big deal. I have actually the replacement panels. Start by pulling out the seats, pulling out the original vinyl flooring, and tape it all off, get it ready for me to start cutting some of this outer rockers off here, which I do got to adjust the door a little bit, which is no big deal. It won't take me very long at all. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to start another project. It's been a minute since I've got my hands dirty and started doing work like this, and this is the stuff that I absolutely love, and I'll never stop. So we'll go ahead and get the camera rolling, and let's start pulling out some of this interior. All right, welcome back. It is day number 2. If you remember yesterday, I worked on getting the old vinyl floors out of it, all the tar paper that was still down, and just cleaned it out real good so I could get a good idea of what I had to start with. Also got this door latch working again, and remember correctly, those are the sweet floors I have to work with, which I don't have to do a lot to, which is awesome. But basically what I'm going to start tackling next is the rockers. Now before I started this, I went ahead and did a fitment align on the doors. I had to bring it out quite a bit to get it to line up here, it's pretty close. It's too high here, and it's a little low here, but it's in tolerance to where I can live with it. I'm completely fine with it. I'm actually gonna be pretty happy with it once I replace this cab corner here. As you can tell, it gets tight as it comes down to the cab corner right here, and it gets tight with the rocker right here. So, but it looks good all the way around the top of the door, and especially in the front here, that's got a nice gap. So I'm happy with it because it's nice all the way around the top, going down the door here. It gets a little wide here, but that's just factory the way it was. It stays good. So basically I'm gonna do the same old trick that my dad taught me. Once you got your doors set, you don't have to fight them too much. If you take a 1/4-20 drill bit and you drill a hole here, and you drill a hole straight through here, through all the metal, so when you go back to align it, you literally find your hole with a 1/4-20, throw them in both. When you tighten it up, you're almost back to where you were. We might take a tiny bit of fine tuning, but it's nothing compared to fighting the door again for another half hour. It's more like a 5-minute job, which is sweet, and I'm all about speeding up things a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this guy, and we'll start cutting the rockers off. All right, so after a little bit of persuasion, the old rocker is out. You can see how bad it was, which honestly, it's really impressive still. All the stuff that I'm pulling off, I'm very impressed with for where I found it at. So one thing that I want to do first though is I have to get out my inner rocker and see how much replacement that it comes with. If it comes up to here, then that'd be awesome. If I had a step and a step, because I could shove it all the way up to here if it potentially was, because it's bad up in that corner. But that's basically my next step. Is I need to figure out what the inner rocker does, how far it goes, how far it comes over here, and then I need to look into this, because this needs to be replaced also before I put the outer rocker on, because I won't be able to get to it from the backside more than likely without damaging what I put in. So I need to make sure I get this replaced like it should be and put back on, which this is still strong up in here. It starts getting rough right around through here, so if anything I'll have to replace from here down, which is no big deal, but I just need to know what I have and how much I have. So all right, welcome back. It's officially day number 3 of getting started with the rockers, getting a slow pace, working on them after work until roughly around 10 o'clock, 10:30, something like that. And yeah, last night I stared at it till 10:30 and tried to get a better game plan. And I learned that, if I can find it, wherever it is here. Yeah, way in there. So these are not, they're replacements, but they don't go all the way up and cover the body mount hole. So these are like slip over. So basically what I can do is, where this cab mount is completely rotted out here, I can come almost to the bolt and slice it through underneath with the cutting wheel. There's nothing in the way there. Drill out these spot rivets, get them out. That'll drop down that old body mount. I can clean up the old one that's in there, and I can weld it to it here and here. And the original spot welds that I drill out, they should line up with these flanges here. So it's just, so drill them out completely. This should slide over. I can weld it in as long as I get it close. So I pulled these last 2 bolts out here, factory mounts. I'll get it bolted on there and get it kind of tacked in, just good enough to hold it for now. And then once it's holding it, I'll remove these bolts and work on replacing this in here. So it's just a small piece. I'm gonna make it come over, and then it'll step down at an angle and meet back up at this, which I'm not gonna weld it to, but I am gonna make a new 90-degree piece. So this is gonna come over and go down and stop. And the reason why I'm doing that is for the inner rocker it's going to go on. So I don't want to make anything interfere with what I got going on here. So you can see it hits back there, but I took out the bolt last night, so this will slide behind this bolt here. You can see the whole entire cab corner moving. So basically I got to slide it behind there, put this on, get it halfway decent lined up with this bolt hole, and that'll give me an idea once I get it in there for what I need to do in here. Moving on, I think I'm at the point to where this beam is now tied back into the floors and it's not going to go anywhere when I hang the door back. So I think that's going to be my next step, is to get the door back on here. But yeah, I want to set the gap real nice in the door jamb. So once I figure out where that goes, I'll zip screw the outer rocker on in place and kind of figure out what I need to do to modify this inner rocker to get it to work with what I got. Back to work, day number 4, I think, of rockers, and we're still trucking along. Last night I kind of got this guy zipped in to place and put the outer rocker on and got it lined up with the door, and it kind of took a little bit, but basically I need to go through here now and complete this end. So I know that this needs to be replaced because it's rotted. So what I'm going to do is 90-degree break me a piece of metal that comes over and up like that, so it covers this bulge that's in this metal anyways. So I'll cut this straight down from here, cut it squared off into there, get it set in there, go ahead and weld it on, clamp it, drill through the factory mounts that are on the back side for the new cab mount that I installed. So that'll give me the holes to bolt it here and here, and I can go ahead and bolt that there and there because the rocker does not go right there. So yeah, because the door edge is somewhere in here. So yeah, I got to, and when I take off the rocker, I'll cut this excess off on the bottom, cut that off, weld that new piece on, drill 2 holes. That'll be finished out there. And then basically I got to then come over here, and I'm probably just gonna do a round piece that goes down somewhere in here like this first, get it welded out, and then make this piece that goes down to cap it off. Same thing over here, goes down to cap it off. Once that's made, then I'll build a new piece of this that goes up in 90s. So then this will all be finished out here to the inner rocker with the factory bolts back in it like it should be. All right, so that is kind of my completed one side tacked up inner and outer rockers, cab corners, and body mounts. Now the body mounts, when I said slip over, they they're meant to slip over, but just a little bit. I didn't leave the rest of the junk in there. I cut out probably 80% of them because right where they bolted was still good. So pretty much when I'm able to pull the body and kind of tilt it back, I'll be able to just to fix where they tie back into the original bolts because there's only 4 bolts, body mount bolts. So now that I got it all tacked up, I pretty much just got to rinse and repeat on the other side to get it done. It's in a little bit better shape, so it should go a little bit faster as well. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the way everything is turning out on it. Inner and outer rockers, it's nice to have some structure back in the truck and feel like I'm getting somewhere. But thanks for watching today's video. We'll see you next week.